Well, good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thank you, as always, for tuning into my, in this case, 2,877th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni. Traders, again, thank you for tuning in. Your comments have been fantastic. As you know, I write back to each and every one of your comments, and the back and forth has been fantastic. So thank you for putting those comments below these videos. Keep liking and sharing. We appreciate that, and I will make sure I answer all of your posts. So, we've got a video coming at you, video 2,877, and that's for trading on Friday, March 7th, 2025. Before we get involved on what's on this board and how it could help us tomorrow's trading day, you need to know that, has anyone ever told you that this is a risky game? Has anybody ever lost money trading before? Oh, you haven't? Well, let me introduce you to this game. Boy, oh boy, trading is like this. I want to trade today. Ow! All right, that didn't work. I want to trade tomorrow. Ow! Trading's like that if you don't have stops in, if you don't have a trading plan, if you don't know what you're doing. This is not the business for you. But if you know to devise a protective stop, whether it's a sell or buy stop, depends upon your trading. Put that stop in first before you ever enter into a live position. I promise you will live a lot longer in this business. Make sure you do that and get a lot less of this. Put your stops in first. Now let's get going. All right, so on this board, if you recognize this board, it's exactly the same board that I used in the last video. None of the topics changed at all, except for we're bearish for Friday instead of Wednesday, which was on the board last time you looked at it, right? So I was able to use the exact same 4 sentences. Here's where we're at. The repetitive pattern that you've been seeing all week in my videos, it's a weekly chart, right? So no matter what was going to happen Monday through Thursday, we don't know if that weekly repetitive pattern is going to pan out until Friday's close. That's today's close if you're watching this on Friday. With that in mind, and with that repetitive pattern possibly pointing up, I will tell you this, the OMNI number 2, the OMNI is bearish for trading on Friday. It wants to sell the rallies. The charts will illustrate why. I've got a great chart segment coming up. Make sure you watch that. The charts will absolutely illustrate why the OMNI is bearish for trading on Friday. Now, we could always have that 14 or 13-week cycle pan out in that chart we keep discussing and showing in these videos. But that's not what the OMNI is saying is going to happen on Friday, and I'm going with the OMNI. Now, there's big reports coming out at 8:30 Eastern Time, a.m. tomorrow morning. Those reports could make the funds come in, algorithms change, and this thing goes straight up, which is why we put stops in. But that's not what the OMNI is telling us. The OMNI is telling us that repetitive pattern is not going to pan out, and we're going to head down. But in all honesty, there's really no way to know if a weekly repetitive pattern is going to repeat until the end of each week. So no matter what the OMNI says is going to happen on Friday, you never know about this pattern, but I am going to trade the OMNI as we do every day. OMNI says sell the rallies on Friday in E-mini, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, and I will do that if I get a chance to get in. Number 3 on the board, longer-term charts are being tested. Support is being tested right now. I will show you those charts. The long-term charts for the last couple of weeks have been looking fantastic. Now they're getting tested. There's support being tested, if you will. It's being hit upon, hammered from the top side down. And if it gets through that support, the fund managers are going to come in, the algorithms are going to come in, and down we will go. And again, all of that is in the chart segment, which I will show you in just a moment. There is one fun thing taking place. We've got an OMNI camp coming up in exactly 2 weeks from now, kids. 2 weeks from now, one of you lucky Omniacs are going to come out here to Vegas and spend 4 days and nights in my home office working with me, learning the OMNI. And OMNI is the art of Oscar's market navigational indicator. That's the OMNI. And if you learn the OMNI, I promise you, you'll do exactly what these other Omniacs say and do. When they come out to OMNI Camp, we do an interview with them when they're done. And you know what? We have helped so many people around the world. OMNI Camp's only for a few people at a time, but you can't imagine how this will help your trading. It'll help you plan a trade and trade that plan very professionally, like you've been trained on Wall Street. Now, I've got an open seat. It just popped open today, by the way. I didn't realize it was going going to be open. We've got an open seat for this OmniCamp. OmniCamp is March. It's March 20th through 25th. It's 2 weeks away. What makes this OmniCamp a little more unique and a little special is we are going on a field trip. There's a bonus with this OmniCamp. Not only will you learn the Omni from me in its entirety, and I'll send you home with a brand new laptop, which will be pre-programmed by me, and everything in it that you've learned will be there, but we're also going to take a trip on Saturday night where all the Omni class is going to see the Grateful Dead, or Dead & Company, at the Sphere here in Las Vegas. If you're a deadhead and a trader, I promise you this is for you. Make sure you contact me. Go to OMNIBootCamp.com. Go there now. There's 2 weeks left that I've got to prepare for you if you're coming out to camp. OMNIBootCamp.com. Fill out those applications. Let me know you want to make the camp in 2 weeks, and we'll go see the Grateful Dead as well as learning how to be a great trader. With that in mind, I want to show you some fantastic charts, but before I do that, I want you to see what these last few Omniacs said when they came out to our OmniCamp. You will be able to do the same thing and say the same thing. Take a look at this. Humor me, and I'll be right back to you.
What's amazing to me is I did not know who this guy was. I've seen him on YouTube. The system works. I'm here. Okay? But after listening to the stuff he's done and his life story, blown away. I'm blown away.
I know 10% of the traders make money and 90% are losers. And I want to be by the 10%.
Traders, you've seen that. That's absolute testimonial. These traders, once they come out, they tell me their lives are fixed as far as trading is concerned. They're able to get in and out of the markets properly, and their accounts go up. Allow me to do that for you. All right, so you've heard what's on the board, right? The repetitive patterns. We'll find out on Friday if it's going to work. Right now, the charts say absolutely not. Forget that pattern, but it's not Friday. Is it closed yet? We know that there's good support, and it's also being tested on the long-term weekly charts. Don't forget to fill out those OmniCamp applications. Now, I'm about to show you some great charts, but before I do that, you've got to say something with me, because by now there are Omniacs all over the world that repeat this with me. They tell me even their kids do, and it'll really help you, especially when you're in a bad trade. So we're going to look at charts, but before that, say this with me over and over again. Are you with me, kids? 1, 2, 3. Stop, soar, in. You got it, guys. Emotions are out. Rock and roll. Thanks for tuning in. Now, let's go look at some charts. Traders, the Dow Jones weekly chart. We use the YM for this. You must all remember this chart. It's been in many videos. We found this crazy 12 to 13 bar cycle that after 13 weeks or after 12 weeks, it changes complexion. And here, after 13 weeks and it's heading down, it changes complexion. Same thing with here. After 13 weeks, it changes complexion. Even this one, it was going down, down, down. On week 12, it changed complexion. So I pointed this out and I said, by this Friday, being today, if you're watching this video on Friday, this bar will either head up to change complexion, or obviously the pattern is over. We don't know what the bar is going to do because report's coming out tomorrow morning, and you never know. We could go straight up, right? Imagine if we do and the bar turns green, that will mean the pattern is repeating. But with that in mind, that's not what Omni's expecting tomorrow. Let me show you. You've seen all these charts, right, all week long. The last 2 weeks, we had the big double top. The market fell away from that double top. Now, your NASDAQ on the daily chart is way below the 200 bar moving average. The street watchers at Wall Street, they know the NASDAQ's below that. It's below it for 3 or 4 days now. That is something that's going to catch their attention, I promise you. Then you've got the Russell 2000 below the 200 bar moving average, below the big head and shoulders we've been following, and it's starting to make its projection. These are daily charts. One other chart for trading on Friday is the transportation average below the 200 bar moving average, had the fake head test, broke down, is now coming out of the bottom of the head and shoulders. More downward action is what this is calling for. Now we've got the E-mini S&P. And if you remember in the last video, the one night right before this, I said, will S&P go down through this bar? Well, it sure did. It went through the 200 bar moving average. S&P was next. Yep, it sure did it. Now, just about every indice we follow is below the 200 bar moving average. Now we're going to roll out to Bitcoin for a minute. A lot of questions about Bitcoin today. And in those questions, I said Bitcoin looks about as bearish as the S&P unless the report comes out tomorrow morning and changes the landscaping on us. You would be selling the Bitcoin on the rally. How come? Well, take a look at this resistance here. It went from the 200 bar moving average. It held beautifully. Bang, hit that resistance line. Came back down, went back up. Bang, hit the resistance line and settled down here. Now I'm going to show you this exact same chart. Not only does it have resistance using the trend line analysis, same chart, look at it now. Look at this insanely strong average that we have. This average seems to work really, really well. Look at how it just keeps this market in check all the way through. So what happens? Follow this average. We went up, hit the average and the resistance, came back down, went back up, hit the average and the resistance, and now the Omni turned bearish. Look at how many times. If you get above, you rally. If you get below, you drop. It works just about every time. And here we are below, and we just failed at it on Thursday. So your Bitcoin's probably going to follow the S&P lower on Friday. Now we're going to move out to the weekly charts. If you remember on my board, topic number 3 was longer term charts. Support is being tested. Now, each time we've gotten down here in the past, we rallied back up, but look at this time. So far on the weekly bar, we have broken through support. I promise you, Wall Street is watching. Next, Dow Jones weekly bar through the support. It doesn't usually get through that support. This is a fantastic channel. It's breaching support. Same exact chart with an average. I made the trend line a little thinner so you can see the average. Usually holds, has a great time holding, usually holds. We are here right now. If it drops again on Friday, we will have settled below that average. So far, so good on the support being tested. It's not holding yet. We have Friday to find out, but it's not holding yet as of Thursday. Now, the worst of the charts was the transportation average because its high was back here and it's been going down and just showing basically bad movement to us for quite some time. Well, this one is the last one to get below the 200 bar. Or I should say, in this case, on the weekly, this one is now below the support and is at the 200 bar. The weekly charts haven't gone anywhere near that 200 bar moving average, but the leader seems to already be there. That's a little bit scary. The 200 bar moving average on the Dow Jones would be all the way down here compared to where it was on the transportation average, right? So nothing else is there. So what do we have? We have this possibility to make the markets become buoyant on Friday and head back up. If that does not do it, if this crazy pattern does not repeat, boy, oh boy, we're going to be in for another down leg here. Look at your NASDAQ. This is the only one left. That weekly chart I just pulled in front of you, and this, it's the only savior left. It's the last hope. NASDAQ weekly, if it comes down to this spot and holds and the buyers come back in, we can be saved. If it does not hold there, believe me, Wall Street is going to attack because this is the last indice that is not holding. It hasn't gotten through that yet. It's the only one left that hasn't gotten through. So if it holds, wonderful. If not, the street will come in and sell more. Now, we're going to talk a little further out. Now we're going to look at what could propel our markets to go back up later this year. Crude oil, absolutely. If you recall, we called this the Trump trade. As soon as Trump got elected, we know he likes crude compared to the last regime. So right here, we talked about 2 targets, 55 and then 47.50. The market was trading around 77 at the time. It has dropped all the way from 77. It is all the way down here at the 65 mark. That is going to help every market. It's going to help every company. It's going to help all the individuals on this planet. Only 10% have EV cars, maybe 15% if you really wanted to stretch it, but that's not how high it is on the whole planet. So that's not who's getting help. We are all getting help. Everybody's getting help with the price of crude going down. If it goes down enough, it will send the stock market back up. And look at gasoline, kids. This ought to make you smile. If you do not have a woke car and you've got a gas car, take a look. Look at this gasoline dropping like crazy. Down we go. That's going to help companies all over this planet move transportation around. It's going to help the market go back up. We will not spend the year going down no matter what pans out on Friday, today by the close. Traders, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to livewithoscar.com and join me in my free live trading room. No credit cards are required. I'll see you there.